Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. Today we're doing Raina Remembers. It's new. Ooh. Because I've been doing this for 10 years, almost 11. It'll be 11 in September 2019. A lot of people have been asking for stories, and one of the things people have been asking me about is to do features on all of my tales. So I wanted to talk to you about my very first mermaid tale and my very first mermaid swim with itty bitty Raina. 9 years ago. I started being a mermaid 10 years ago, but I had a land mermaid costume and I wore it. I worked at a bookstore and I got hired to be a mermaid and sit in a pool and play guitar and it was Talk Like a Pirate Day. It was September 2008. And I sang pirate shanties. I sang this song called The Pirate Gospel. It was great. It's like yo ho, yo ho, yo ho, yo ho. It was so cute. And we had all these kids going and I was playing guitar and like flipping the little tail and I was like sing the pirate gospel and then we get like stomping their feet and I had my little pool. It was so cute. I've got some pictures of it. And it was so great because when I worked at that bookstore, I did all kinds of cool things like that. They had the 100th anniversary of Anne of Green Gables. So guess who got to dress up and act like Anne for the day? That was when the final Harry Potter book came out too, and so we all dressed up like Harry Potter characters for Midnight Madness when the book came out and we had a party, and it was such a great job. And that was the first time I'd ever done a professional mermaid thing, and that was before people did professional mermaid stuff. Flash forward to my first tale, and it's a bit of a long story, which I'm not going to get into the whole thing here. It's in my first book, and I've talked about it before, but basically I was really sick, and I was in bed, and I was watching Splash, and I was like, that's so cool, I wish I could do that, and I started Googling, and I found this website called Mermaid FX. They had all the info on Annette Kellerman, who you know is my girl on my tattoo, who inspires me all the time, and we're gonna do a video just about Annette. So I learned about her, and then they were selling mermaid tails. And I wish I still physically had this tale to show you, but unfortunately I sent it away to another mermaid to do some seamstress work on it 6 years ago, and she disappeared with my tale. So that kind of sucks because it was my first tale. So I'll describe it to you, and we've got pictures and video, but basically it was, I messaged them, I put my order in, my order disappeared, I put it in again, it disappeared, and then finally I got someone through email, what's going on? And well, we're closing our business down because our seamstress died. Oh, okay. And there was no other mermaid companies out at that point. Mertailor was just getting into realistic tales. He was still doing fabric tales, and I just didn't find much of his stuff at the time. Well, do you have any of these tales left? I'll take whatever you have. Like, oh, well, I think we actually have a pre-made one in the color that you want, so we'll send it to you, but we don't have any monofins. And back then, you could not get monofins in Canada like, anywhere, and nobody would ship them here either. This is helping my ADD right here. I love it. This is my fidget spinner. I didn't have a monofin. Okay, well, I'll figure something out. A few weeks went by and I got this tail in the mail. It was orange, bright orange, the color of a safety pylon, and it was bright orange and stretch vinyl, which stretch vinyl looks a lot like liquid latex, so it looked like a fetish thing. Like so fetishy. And I had no fins for it, so I made Sean take me out and I bought 2 swim fins, which I didn't have them mounted on anything, and they didn't really fit in the tail, but I made it work. And so I did a couple of photo shoots wearing it, a couple photos in my bathtub, and I tried to stalk Hannah Fraser's photos and figure out how she made her shell tops, and I tried to make one too, and I couldn't understand how she got rid of the straps and pictures. And I remember emailing like one of her photographers to ask him, like, how did you guys do that? And they were pasties, and then so it's, oh, okay. So I made myself a pair of those, and I had like a short little bob haircut. So when I finally got to swim in it for my very first swim, remember back then I was not a good swimmer. In fact, if you watched my video about dyspraxia, I talked about how I nearly drowned on my first date with Sean. So I was not a good swimmer, and this was my motivation to get healthy and to keep doing physiotherapy and to be a good swimmer. So Sean took me to my family's cottage, and it was a blistering hot day. It was really sunny out, and he had a migraine. So God love him, because he knew how much I was waiting for this. And the poor man had to wear giant sunglasses, and he toughed it out sitting on the dock, and I was terrified because I was not a good swimmer. So I put a life jacket on. I put a life jacket and the tail, and I remember my aunt saying to me, that tail looks like the devil, because the way the fluke was shaped, it looked like little red horns. And God love my aunt, she's been the biggest mermaid supporter in my life, and I just always think of that tail now as the demon devil tail. So my little cousin is swimming in the lake, and he's, I don't know, 7 or something, and he's splashing around having fun, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And I get in and I've got the life jacket on, and I mean, you really couldn't swim in this tail. You could. It just dragged so bad. It ballooned up. There was nowhere for that air or water to go, and I had 2 little swim fins, so they didn't work. So really all I could do was kind of float on the water and paddle around. And it was really windy, and I was nervous, and so, you know, I'm swimming around, and I just remember, I think I said out loud, man, this isn't as easy as I hoped it would be, kind of thing. And my aunt, oh, you're so cute, that's so cute, you guys. I'm trying to take pictures. The neighbors came and looked, and I don't look like Hannah Fraser. I don't look like anything. I'm crappy at this. It was really actually discouraging at first, like so bad at it, so bad. This mermaiding was so new. There was no how-to videos, there was no tutorials, and people were really secretive about the information that they knew. Mer Network didn't exist, it was Mer-Yuku, and I don't even know if Mer-Yuku existed yet. It might have just been the Mer-Yuku Yahoo group, and then within the next year it became Mer-Yuku, and then within a couple years it became Mer Network. And Facebook groups were not a thing. Facebook was barely getting started back then. I think Facebook started to the public in 2005, but it didn't really get going until 2008, 2009. So yeah, there was nowhere for me to get information from. That was my first swim in it. And I kept being really determined, and I kept trying to swim in it and kept trying to do stuff, and I don't think I ever got a monofin for it either. I think I just went from that to like my next actual tail. But I would take my little sister out and put her in it. She's Mermaid Emma, and she could put that on and just go. It didn't matter that it had crappy swim fins. She was so good. And I lent it to a photographer to take some pictures with, and then he gave it back to me, and he didn't give me the swim fins back, and we kind of had an argument over it. Dude, I gave you a $100 pair of swim fins with that. He said, no, you didn't. Yes, I did. I wouldn't lend it to you without the swim fins. You can't fit anything else in it. He's like, no, you didn't. So I got screwed over twice. I had a photographer take my fins, and then I had another mermaid who I gave money to and sent sequins to keep it for like 6 years. I don't know. I'm still trying to get it back because it's sentimental. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the sequins. I don't need bad blood. If she's watching this, girl, I just want it back. It was my very first tail. It's sentimental to me. I want to have it on my wall. It's how I found Annette Kellerman, and it may be ugly and it may be like a really crappy tail, but you know what? It's my humble beginnings. It's how I started. So we've been showing you little clips here and little pictures of my first swim, so now we're going to show you the whole clip in its entirety because it's just a couple minutes, and you can laugh at Raina's terrible learning how to be a mermaid. So we'll put like the whole clip here because it's just about a minute.
Oh, look at that. That's so cute. Very cute. Oh, Steph, you need to go into the lily pads there. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't.
It's not as easy as I hoped it would be.
So there you go. I'm going to make these videos about all of my tails and tell you all the stories behind them. Raina remembers. It's going to be my little throwback, flashback thing. If you like what I do, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It's patreon.com/RainaMermaid. For as little as $2 a month, you get exclusive content, exclusive merch, behind the scenes, early access to all my videos. You get extra videos that nobody else gets. And I also put up program planning materials that you can use for your mermaid companies, for programming birthday parties, or coming up with programs for swim schools, or even just swim lessons. I do all the work for you. So for like $2, you can literally just go on, and $2 a month, that's $24 a year. That's crazy good deal, right? And you can get all that stuff. So check it out. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, leave me a comment. What else do you want to hear about my infamous mermaidy past? It's a long one now. I'm getting old, guys. I'm getting old. Thanks for checking me out, best fishes. This is my other tail. I call it my practice tail because it was the first tail I ever bought and I used it to practice. I got it from, I think it was called Mermaid FX. They're out of business now. But it's very similar to what you'd see with a fabric tail. It's made out of stretch vinyl. It's like PVC. And it's actually really comfortable. It's one size fits all because it's so stretchy, and I've had it on a lot of different size bodies and it works really well. There's no detail, it's just a solid color, and there are seams. I don't have a monofin fork because I am waiting and waiting and waiting for one that I ordered and it just doesn't seem to come. So inside it has 2 swim fins, so I get a nice gap there. I do have plans for it. My sister and I would like to take those nice big sequins, you know, the ones that are like this big, and just sew them all over the whole thing so that it looks like it's got scales. We want to put a monofin in it, and I'm not sure if it'll work or not, but we might put silicone in the edges here in a hole just so we can have the water come out. And just so it's stiff. I mean, it's still going to flop no matter what you do, but right now it fills up with water. A lot of people ask me if I want to sell it. I don't. I like having a practice tail. I can give people in my family, my friends, a chance to use it and feel what it's like. It's going to be a great project for me and my sister to see how we can dress it up. You know, it's not going to be anywhere like a latex tail. It's not. There's no neoprene, so it's not very warm. But you know what? It's fun. It's a project. And I'm still, you know, I'm attached to it. It was my first tail. I just don't feel like giving it up yet.